Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? So nice to see you this great morning for me, maybe afternoon or evening for you, but very nice to have you. Hi, Samantha. Lovely seeing you in the chat. Welcome. We have a going on right now. What is your movie preference? Is it the Barbie movie or Oppenheimer or Barbenheimer? Oh my God, when I heard that phrase, I died rolling because it was so funny. Barbenheimer phenomenon. They actually have a Wikipedia page for this. I didn't know that. Barbenheimer phenomenon is an instance of counter programming, a marketing strategy where tonally different films are released on the same day to appeal to the public. And it's crazy because I would have never imagined those two words together, Barbie and Oppenheimer, but apparently it's a thing. And I really want to get a t-shirt that's like split in the middle. One says Barbie and one says Oppenheimer. So if y'all are making 3D clothes body drive, I would definitely love to see that t-shirt. Join with me here today is August. Hi, August.
Hey, how's it going,
How are
Celine?
you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you a Barbie person or an Oppenheimer person or a Barbenheimer person?
Probably a Barbie person because they were filming it right outside of my apartment last year.
Are you serious? Wait,
Yeah.
he lives in Venice where everything is poppin', so he always has the most interesting updates. He's like, "Yeah, I saw this famous star, or I saw like a really famous movie person." Like he always comes to me with stories. I'm like, "You're living in LA. I feel like I'm not living in LA."
I actually saw them and I was like, what are they filming? And then later on, I saw that they were filming the Barbie movie and I was like, oh my God, Ryan Gosling was within 100 yards of me and I
No,
didn't believe
I would die. I would die. That's insane, number one. And I feel like compared to you, I totally live in the suburbs. It is a different kind of LA.
it.
Before I came here, though, I felt like LA was like a big island, and the entirety island was like Hollywood, like basically Barbie Dreamland. That was my image. But turns out near where I live is more suburby, quiet, which I like. But Fam's in the chat. Give hands up for Fam. Hi Fam. Relax no name. Nice seeing you. Hi Relax no name. Explosive reality. Yes. Amazing. Thank you for being here. They even said, "Hey, you two legends." That is so sweet. Also, I'm noticing a new feature on YouTube. Am I the only one noticing? Like there's like emoticons on the right side, like emojis, and if you click on it, it goes up. It kind of reminds me of TikTok Live. Ooh, Explosive Reality says apparently the real Oppenheimer guy was really, really fun. The real Oppenheimer was actually a really funny, happy go lucky guy. That is fantastic. Based on all of the trailers, my image of Oppenheimer right now is dark, grim, survival. I don't know. Okay, let's get started with the questions. Joshua 19V asks, "Hello everyone. I'm creating a new gaming effect for TikTok called Connect 4, and I wondered if there is possible odd or even node that makes it more mechanic. In instance, if you click an image 1, a significant of +1 will be added. Even means it can trigger the red fish and odd." Okay, I think this is very technical, but they're asking if odd and even node exists.
Odd and even node. I'm a little confused, I think. Um, yeah, could you say that again?
Even if we I do we have a built-in odd and even node? But even if we don't, I think we can use maybe mod.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little unclear with the odd and even node, what it would be. We have a flip flop node. Is it called flip flop?
Yes.
Where it executes two different things in opposite beats. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're just checking if something is even or odd, if that's it, then you can just do math. Use the divide and then check if it's equal to 0, or keep dividing until you get down to something that's not divisible by 2. I'm probably oversimplifying it. Should I create a subgraph that checks if a number is even?
I think that would be very helpful. Yes.
Okay. Uh, okay, so in order to do an operation like multiple times, we would probably, yeah, if I can remember correctly, I think to check if something is even or odd, I think you have to do multiple iterations, which means I think we would have to create a for loop. Yeah, let's see. We'll start with a for loop. Okay, and then, well, we would want actually a while loop. I don't think we really have a while loop, actually.
Carol, can we go to the screen sharing page? As always, Carol is helping us run the stream. Thank you, Carol.
Okay, let's see. So
August, do we need a subgraph? Explosive Reality gave a really good recommendation. They said if node and then the input variable and then divide like mod 2. And then we can do yes or no.
divide mod 2. Okay. My double clicks aren't going through and it's throwing me off. Okay. So divide by 2. Wait, I'm trying to follow the logic you just said, but it seems like there's some missing info. Create subgraph. We can put this as our input number. So if we only divide by 2 one time, though, we're only going to see, it could still require, do we want to put it into mod and then divide?
I didn't mean to like divide. You can take the if node and then see if like x the incoming math variable, and then we can do a mod by 2 and says if equals 0, it means it's divisible by 2. So in that case, it would be even. Otherwise, it would be odd.
Oh, okay. Okay, is that always going to be true? That's what I'm. I guess we could test a couple conditions. Let's see. So, oh, I forgot that these don't come out that way. Or we could just output true or false. Okay, so just to make it easier, we'll just disconnect this for now. So this will say it is even, but if our input was 3, oops, something with a 3, it should be odd. Okay. For some reason, I feel like this seems too simple. I feel like there should be some edge cases that break this, but maybe not. Maybe that works. But yeah, anytime it's going to be divisible by 2. Okay, I guess that works. So yeah. I was just trying to make it harder than it is, I guess. Are there any cases where it's like a very, very large number where it... No, it's probably fine. Okay. I think that'll do. If you want to take a screenshot of this, I think this works in the sense that it will output a Boolean, and if you put a trigger, it will branch the signal as well if you need that.
Okay, thank you. Kel says, "Yo, what's poppin'?" And I can feel the energy all the way from here. Hi, Kel. Thank you for joining. Explosive Reality says, "Will it be possible to schedule the launch of my effects?" I think Carol mentioned it, but it's been a highly requested feature, and I would also personally love that for myself. So I'll also go and upload this feature request if you put it in the forums. Next up, oh, Bruno. Hi, welcome. Good afternoon. We have a next effect from Discord. Non-Finaries says, so this is about ending quiz after a set amount of questions, and you came to the right person because August is the person who was behind the one person quiz template, and he's been working on something new too. I can't tell it to you now, but is it coming out soon?
There's a lot of stuff coming out soon.
That's true. That's always true. I am surprised at the pace that we release new features and new updates. I'm like, are you guys even sleeping? Like, it's amazing. Okay, going back to the question. Non-binary says, I've been using the one-person quiz template, and I want to make it so instead of the timer ending and restarting the effect, that it ends after the user answers 5 questions. However, I need to have a larger database of questions so that each time they use it is a different amount. I have been trying to extract the head tilt or use the quote can answer variable to count the amount of questions that have been answered. It works for the first recording. However, when you use the effect again, the game logic doesn't reset correctly. Do you have any advice for this person?
So if you want, so if you modify how the variables and stuff are used in this, you've got to be pretty careful because like a lot of times they're not just used in one place, and if you like unplug something or plug something in elsewhere, you kind of have to go through all of the subgraphs and just see where else they're used. And so if your variables aren't resetting, well, let's go with how I would make it end after a certain number of questions. Right now, as is, I think the timer here, well, it's a timer PNG sequence. This is essentially what will be helping it end the game. So what you would want to do is instead of this, you would want to have a counter, and you would. I would assume you don't want the timer at all, because then that logic might be a little weird. Okay, so this index generator is what's called every time that we answer a question. So that would be a good place to increment the counter. So I'd just create a little sequence node here, and so that we can connect what it was already doing. And then we also can output this to increase our counter first. And then if this current number is greater than the number of questions that we wanted to answer, so this number of questions, I don't know if you want somebody to go through all of the questions or just like a specific like 5 questions and then the quiz is over, but you could set this to a hard-coded number, or do like we did in the here. somewhere. There should be an array info. Okay, so maybe we just have to make a new one. Array info is a node that you can put in an array, and it will it'll just output the total number of items in that array, the length of the array. So you can use this so that they answer all questions. And then I think you would also put it here so that the counter doesn't go, well, you don't have to actually. Just make sure, yeah, you might want to actually, sorry. You just want to make sure that the counter doesn't stop before the number that you're doing. So this list has five items. That means the counter will go up at least to 5. Okay, so now we have a counter that checks how many questions we've answered every time we answer a question, and it will give us a positive signal after it's finished with all of them. And so here is where we would insert the timer previously when the game was over. So we could put this here. And now when you answer 5 questions, this should end the game. So let's just see if that works. We answered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's check what's going on. It never goes above 5. So what we really wanted was greater or equal. That's a very common mistake. And then this should work. And then I'll show you where you would want to reset. Okay, so now we answer 1, 2, 3. Okay, I did 5 really fast. Oh, but it's still answering. So then our logic with the can answer. I think this is what we want to turn off. End game logic. Can answer. That should be the last thing that happens. Let's just put a peak node just to double check. So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it turns itself back on. Let's see where that would be. The nice thing is in 262, if you go to your variables, you can click the variable and it will bring you to at least one instance of where it is. Here's where we turn it off temporarily. Yeah, this might can answer. Might be something to dive into later on if I can't find. So here's what I'm thinking. Sorry, I should think out loud when I'm doing this.
Okay, so I got a question. Kel asked, I usually get confused. When is a good time to use the variables?
What? When is a good time to use variables?
Yeah, maybe you can say, like, if you know for sure that you want to use it in multiple situations versus you only use it once.
Yeah, there's you could probably write a whole like chapter of a book on when the right time to use variables is. In general, maybe I would say like one good thing, the time that I use variables the most is in a subgraph that I'm going to duplicate. So say that I wanted to make this effect, but I wanted it to work for 2 people. I might duplicate this subgraph to start out, and then I would go look at anything that is, so can answer would probably be a game variable. So that would work for, you would want that to be true or false for the entire game, not per person. So that could stay there. And if you look in this variable list, can answer is in the variables section, which is global variables, which is this variable is used throughout the entire project. The other place is this, oops. Oh, I guess, oh, I see. The other place is inside of a subgraph, you'll have subgraph variables, like this tilt state that for some reason it disappeared in the list. But this is a great example. Notice I have 3 set state subgraphs here, and they're all exactly the same, but I want them to share this variable. So this is a subgraph variable, but not at this level. It's a subgraph variable at this whole head tilt level, so that these can each use that same variable. The other way you would have to do that if you didn't have variables is you basically couldn't have them set up in 3 easily duplicatable subgraphs. You would have to pipe in some value from somewhere. But yeah, I can't actually think of another way to do it without variables. So this is super useful and necessary here. Also, for like a simpler use case, just anytime you want to save a value and use it later, one common case is the random node. A lot of people, when they start out, they don't understand that the random node, we'll just do a couple peaks. The random node will output every time it's called a different number. So if you have 2 peak nodes, you'll notice these numbers are always going to be different random numbers. So a lot of times people will create a variable or a subgraph variable, and every frame you'll just set that variable, and then this will be a random number that you can share amongst other nodes. So this is a very simple way to use a variable, but super useful. So yeah, then I would have, assuming these peak nodes were something more useful than just peeking at the number, I would assign that same random number every frame to 2 different places. So that's another case. Yeah. But really, anytime you want to save a value for longer than that split second that it's available, and this also makes it so that you don't have to make this random node process multiple times. Random is super fast. You don't ever have to worry about it processing. But if you have like a large subgraph that outputs a number that does a bunch of for loops and stuff, maybe you'll want to save it into a variable so you only have to make it process all of that data one time. That could be a reason. Yeah. It's called caching. Do you think that's helpful?
Yes, I think that was very helpful. I have another question for you. I know we probably mentioned this during office hours already, but recently I've been seeing a lot of questions, maybe like 4 or 5 questions in our Discord alone, asking people asking, how do you create a 3D object tab? So
How do you create a 3D object tab? Is that like in the hierarchy or?
yeah, like if you had I think what they want to happen is like if you have a 3D object, or like a character, let's say, or a door, and if you touch on that specific 3D object, it like opens the door or does some interaction.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that, okay, I'll dive into that. 1 second, let me open a fresh project. Create project.
We have
So-
more folks joining us. Hi, Felipe. Hi, Noland. Hi, Joshua.
Hey, everyone. So what, tapping on a 3D object, I think in most programs, you'll usually use a raycast. on a collider to see if the point you tapped on the screen it connects a vector from the camera, from where the camera is to where the object is, to see if that tap would have connected with the 3D object from the camera's perspective. So we don't have ray casting in Effect House, but we we might be able to kind of do something else. I can this is going to be a real hacky thing that I've done in the past, but yeah, I don't know if this works for all cases, but I've used it a few times. Okay, so dot product or angle between, I guess, also is good. We'll use angle between. I think dot product might be slightly faster. I'm not sure. So let's create a 3D object. Let's just throw in a sphere. So the sphere, we already know the sphere has a radius of 5 units, I think. So let's see, our tap. We'll do finger touch 1 point. Or I guess screen tap. Yeah, either one. Okay, so this will give us our Oh, interesting. This is slightly different than the other use case I usually use. Usually I check if the camera is looking at the object, but this will be if the camera is like where you tap is looking at the object. Okay, so then you would want to take screen to world. Yeah, screen to world. You'll be using the so this camera is going to be maybe the 3D camera. The camera that provides the input viewport space. Okay, so probably the 2D camera. No. We'll try with the 3D. If it doesn't work, we'll just make a 2D camera. Z depth. If I remember correctly, I think this actually has something to do with where your camera is positioned in the world as well. And then we can just check the angle between wherever we tapped. And see if that's like within a threshold. Okay. So right now the Z would be at 0. So yeah, let's just check a couple taps. And then we'll check the angle between, we're going to subtract the position of the sphere from the camera. So that would give us a vector pointing at the sphere. And this is going to be camera position. And then we can just peek and we'll just that'll give us a little indication of if we're in their ballpark. Sorry. Interesting how it doesn't change at all. Oh, because the sphere is perfectly centered, so it's actually giving us yeah, this Z depth might not be exactly what we want. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of want these vectors to pretty much match, so that we're only really comparing the x and y. Maybe we can just limit it to x and y. Maybe we'll data convert. So data convert this, and this will just cut off the z. Oh. Okay. But yeah, okay, the x and y. Why is this? So the y. So yeah, the angle between is getting further away. I think there's something with this screen to world that I'm maybe maybe if I just set it to 0. Okay, that seems to be correct, and maybe not actually. I kind of have to remember how to use the screen to world. It might be that we do need a 2D camera since we're taking in this screen tap. I can't remember if it wants like this 3D camera to know where it would be placed if once it's converted, or if it wants to know the 2D input camera. I remember being a little confused about that in the past. Oh no, my mouse is okay. I don't think that's it. Well, yeah. What do you think, Celine?
Nolan, who is in our chat, says screen to world should be positive FOV value, so not plus 40. So plus 40 and not minus 40. Z depth, multiply, and equal sign is FOV.
Wait. Say it again.
I can. I think we should end the live because we're running a little over, but I definitely think this is a super fun project to work on. So maybe we can work on offline and we can share during next stream.
Cool. Sounds good.
Amazing. Okay, have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Nolan, for the amazing tips. We'll be at Discord, so please let us know and we can work on it together. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Barbie movie, Bruno. Bye.
Oh.